I will get started. I like to start off with my greeting, which is Jambo, Namaste, Bonjour, Konnichiwa, and greetings to all of you, wherever you are in the world. It's Friday morning for some of us, Friday evening for some of us, or afternoon. Whatever time zone you are, welcome, and thank you for joining us this morning. Calgary, yes, please. We would love audience participation. So please, we are a fun bunch here. It's Friday. Things didn't work in the start, but hey, we want all your participation to get us going. So please, in the chat from each one of you, feel free to share where you're from, where you work, and maybe a fun fact about yourself. And as we do that, I'm proud to have you, Mrigakshi, are you okay with sharing? Because I can't see.
Yeah, just a sec.
No worries. I'm excited and proud to be with these amazing women here in cybersecurity that I've worked with over the last, I would say, maybe 18 months or maybe less than 18 months. I think we all met during the pandemic, except Lalithya. I met you a little bit earlier at maybe in 2019 is when I met you at OWASP. So super excited in terms of how we've connected. We've all worked at BugCrowd. Some of us are still working at BugCrowd, but just so excited to work with three of you. With that, we have an exciting workshop. There's going to be a lot of interaction. You'll be divided into some breakout rooms that you'll see. But I'd like to start and kick this off with introductions. And perhaps let's get Farah to start her introduction.
So hello everyone, I'm Farah and I'm from Mumbai, India, and it's night over here, but you can't really see that. So I work at BugCrowd as an application security engineer, and I also make YouTube videos on my channel. So go and subscribe. And in my free time, I also do some bug bounty, helps me be technically active and learn new things as well. So let me now pass it on to Mrigakshi.
Hi everyone, I'm Mrigakshi. I met all these three amazing women at BugCrowd about last year. I'm currently working as a security consultant. I'm so excited to speak at Cybersecurity Awareness Month. I'm sorry, I'm just not able to share on time. Let's start.
That's okay. We carry on. That's okay. No problems.
Yeah. Are you able to see my screen now?
Yes, we can. So yeah, if you want to continue with your introduction and then pass it over to Lalithya.
Yeah, Lalithya, go ahead.
And you're on mute, Lalithya.
Lalithya, you can give your introduction now. Can you hear me?
You're on mute.
Can she hear you and still can hear you?
Can you hear us, Lalithya? Yes, but we can't hear you. Great. Hey, this would be such a challenge to type things. I was just talking about this yesterday that, I'm okay to lose PowerPoint sharing capability. I'm okay to lose video, but I'm not okay to lose voice. That's a tough one. How do you type up your whole talk track and get the viewers to read it out? Well, while Lalithya sorts her audio issues, maybe Lalithya, you might have to jump out and jump back in. But yeah. While Lalithya sorts her audio issues, I will do a quick intro to myself. So I'm Aarti Gadhia. My network knows me as a change maker, a change agent. For me, my purpose is to be a voice, and I've dedicated my entire career to breaking down barriers and boundaries for underrepresented groups in STEM and in leadership. And that's what my passion is to create opportunities and change. And how I've done this is to stand out to lead through she sharing her empowerment, which is a chapter started up within the organization, and another founding member of WSIS Western Canada. I'm proud to say there's been a tremendous impact in being a voice. And one thing I'd like to say is join us in being this voice. I currently work for BugCrowd, and I'm currently on the OWASP Vancouver board. I also recently was appointed on the Observe ID board as well, which is a leader in identity and security for multi-cloud hybrid environments. Proud to share that both boards have a 50% gender representation on the board. And outside of work, this is where my fun fact was coming in, is I enjoy cooking. I can make a roti in under a minute, and I enjoy riding my motorcycle. So that's a little bit about me. Excited to be with you all this morning with a fun interactive workshop where you're going to learn a lot. With that, I'm going to pass this over to Mrigakshi, who's going to go through an agenda of what you're going to see for today. Lalithya, just let's pause. Lalithya, are you back?
Yes, I am. Are you able to hear me, Aarti, now?
Yes, now I can hear you. So if you don't mind doing your introduction, then we'll hand it over.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, sure. So hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and whatever it is. So this is Lalithya. So I'm also an OWASP board member. I'm doing it for almost 2 years now. And I'm a cybersecurity graduate. And then I work with all these amazing ladies in BugCrowd. And still I enjoy myself doing bug bounties with BugCrowd and HackerOne. So yeah, I would thank Beside Calgary for giving me this amazing platform to do some reconnaissance, the basic reconnaissance with a workshop with you all. So yeah, let's get started.
Awesome. So with that being said, I'm going to pass this over to Mrigakshi as she's going to go through the agenda.
Yeah. So today we will cover basic recon. We will go through host enumeration, some facts about subdomain enumeration, and we will end with Google dorking. Before we begin, we are going to hand you over some questions, just fun questions. We would like you to concentrate on those questions later when we'll give you about 1.5 hours of doing those questions. But all these questions are there in our slides, and we are actually discussing how to go about those questions. Of course, we'll always be available for all 3.5 hours. Maybe we won't last 3.5 hours, but whatever time we are all together, we'll be available for you to solve them so that you can bring out what we said in our presentation and go with it. Yeah, excited for it. So we have 27 people. We have about 30 people here. We want you guys to be divided in groups of some groups, like maybe 7 people in one group, so 5 groups or 3 groups. Does anybody want to volunteer or let us know what their skills are, if they are like really a beginner or they are more advanced? So we have some set prepared for all of you. I cannot really view the chat. Does any of you have can look into the chat if someone's replying?
I think I'll create a poll and I'll ask them about that.
Thanks, Farah. It's creativity on the go, right? Okay. There we go. Poll from Farah is live. Okay, we see the results. Maybe you can proceed, Mrigakshi, as 80% have chosen beginner.
Okay, so we will just divide you into 3 breakout rooms. When you join the session, do you see breakout 1, breakout 2? They have written like women hackers, breakout 1, breakout 2, and you will have to join those breakout rooms once our presentation is over. And then each one of us will be present in those breakout rooms to help you out if you have issues with the questions. So have you shared the doc for the questions? Yeah, let's.
Farah has it. Yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead. Well, let's start with Reconnaissance. Reconnaissance is the first step a hacker, a pen tester, or a bug bounty hunter will take. Well, a lot of job advertisements have phone numbers leaking, have what they do at work leaking. Is anybody saying something? There's a lot of disturbance. I'm sorry. Yeah.
It's probably just an echo, so make sure we'll mute ourselves.
Okay. Yeah. So in job advertisements, there is a lot of stuff leaking. There could be environments a company is working on and vulnerabilities associated with that. Search engines like Google, Bing, and Yahoo could leak a lot of information about our targets. This is all a part of passive reconnaissance. Well, you must have heard the term Google dorking. Farah will take care of it in the later part of the video. LinkedIn could also give you a lot of information about your target, or Facebook, Twitter. Of course, there is a particular database called Who Is Search, where we can find where our target belongs to, the registry of the target. There are sites like Crunchbase where you can find things about acquisitions, and there are way back searches and old URLs can be found out there. So I'm going to show you a small demo of how Whois works. For example, I have my Kali Linux here. I search about a domain on Whois, like whoisevil.com. So and then just click there. So I'll find out where this domain belong to, the domain name, the registry domain ID, and registrar's name. So that's how I can know a little bit more information about my target. Here I'm going to show you another demo about hackthisite.org. So I'm going to search robots.txt. There are some sites, some particular URLs like robots.txt that could give us a lot of information about websites and some of the hidden links in the websites. Search engines search from these URLs. Also, there could be admin directory exposed in some of the targets. We could also search our directories by using some of the some of the tools like GoBuster. Here, I'm going to show you how GoBuster works. So I'm going to look into my directories from inspect element. I see that there are some directories there, but I want to look for more directories. So I have used GoBuster as my tool, and there's a command which goes to for looking into directories, and then -u for the URL. And this is a small word list that I have used for the GoBuster tool. Let's start, and it's going to search some of the URLs. It's also going to show me the status. So 301 is generally not found. 200 or 302 might be a directory that I'll be able to find. So 302 is a redirect. That means I might be able to find some directories. So I see that there's there's no 302 or 200 directory yet. So there's one here. So I'll just open that up. Yeah. Yeah, so now I see that S directory is should be available. Yeah, it is available. So I find one more directory here. Basic Recon includes a lot more finding information than this all. It could be finding the IP ranges or CIDRs, that is classless IDR, by use of tools like MX Toolbox or domain to IP converter. We can also look into the Favicon hashes. Well, Favicon hash is nothing but a Murmur3 hash of 64 encoded, base 64 encoded version of the URL. So when we find the URL of a website, it could be of the form any website favicon.ico, and so we will find the Favicon hash and then search in on a website called shodan.io. SSL certificates are really important for websites to be original. Anybody, if the SSL certificates are not secure enough or can be copied, people could fake your website, and an intruder could create a fake version of your website. Let's see a small demo of how this works. For example, on shodan.io, yeah, so first I'm going to show you how I can search MX Toolbox. At MX Toolbox, I search my website, hack.me, and I will try to find out if there is a DMRC policy. DMRC policy is the one that will help you to have unspoofed emails. So somebody cannot spoof emails from your organization support emails or admin emails. And similarly, there is SPF check. SPF is also a policy set so that people could not forge emails from your organization. Yeah, so here we notice that there is SPF record, but there was no DMRC record. The policy was not doing what it should do. Again, I see short.io here. I can search through country. For example, I search country : CA, and then I can find a lot of information about general leakages, and so that I can know about my target more. This is a general search. General search is not really important because it's not related to our target, but you see that it's showing some of the services being leaked here. Again, and the SSL certificates being leaked there. Now I'm going to show you how particularly I can search for webcams and some other information from on this website. There could be some important webcam leakages that could be of importance for our target. Yeah, so also there is a GitHub repository where I could find the Shodan hashes of particular products like Atlassian, Jenkins. These are just common products, and they have just written down the Favicon hashes of these companies. So I'm just showing you how to search the hash on the website. So you write http://favicon.hash : and then the hash number. So after searching this, I see that some of the targets of this Atlassian were available on Shodan. So Shodan actually works on grabbing the requests that machines send to each other. That is called banner grabbing. Banner grabbing database is recorded in Shodan, and that's where we get this information from. Generally, sites should hide this information, but we have this information because they have not been able to hide it. Let's move on to a quick demo of how to find a Favicon hash. Yeah, let's find out the Favicon hash of google.com, favicon.ico with, we will do it with all of you. So I would like all of you to open google.com, favicon.ico. Everybody with me here? Hi, I would like my audience, my participants to, I cannot really see the chat here.
Yeah, they're following
They're
Mrigakshi.
following.
Yeah. So yeah, let's see. I hope all of you have opened favicon.ico, google.com, favicon.ico. And what we are going to do here is we're gonna see, this is the link. We will use this link in a Python code. It's a very small code, response equal to request.get, and then we encode the content into base64. So we are just encoding this website URL to base64, and then it's printing the favicon. So I'm saving my file, my Python file, to output.txt. And now I'm going to see what output looks like. So you see that the base64 encoded version is a large file. And I'm going to copy that. I'm going to open an online Murmur hash, shorelabs.com, and convert this into Murmur hash. So this is the small number 708578 something. That's the number I'm going to search on shodan.io. So here I'm searching it. Let's see. Yeah, so I get some of the things related to Google. And let's start with host discovery.
Thank you, Mrigakshi. Thank you for handing over it to me. So let's discover about a host discovery. Before we start with the host discovery, I just want to ask you guys, how many of you are having Kali Linux pre-installed with you all? You can just reply in the box. Awesome. So few of you are having. Don't worry, I have some open source tools as well without Kali being needed. Okay, so I'll just begin with it. Yeah. Next slide, actually. So we'll be doing a host enumeration in this topic. So why do you want to discover a host? It's just a general question. Why do you want to perform some reconnaissance on a host? Because if you are given some target, you want to explore how many targets that are included to that target. So you just want to recon one particular target to see what are the other hosts that are present in the network. And if you want to convert some unmanaged hosts or targets into a managed set of targets, then you want to really do a host enumeration. So what exactly is host? A host is a computer that is accessible over a network, any computer. It can be like a client, a server, or any other type of computer which we can say. So each host has its unique identifier, which we call it as a host name, that allows the computer to access it. So we have an IP that is assigned to a particular host name, and every host has its own targets, like other clients, servers, and other type of computers. So that's what we want to enumerate. So this is where you find more vulnerabilities while doing the reconnaissance. Next slide. Okay, so let's discuss on some open source tools of enumerating a target. So first command that we have, which is an open source, is like host command. And then we have nmap, nslookup, http status.io. It's a web page, which is like a direct, you can open in a URL and then do some reconnaissance. And subdomain enumeration, I'm going to cover this in a CLI using in Kali. So next slide, please. So how does a host command works? So host command in Linux system is used for DNS lookup operations. In simple word, like it helps you to find the IP address of a particular domain. As I said, like if you have the host, you can figure out which IP which IP is it under, or if you are having an IP address, what is the host name for it, so that you can just, if you are given a target as an IP address and you want to find out the host name for that, then you can just try these commands, and it has number of options which you can do, like check ports, the name servers and all. So let's do the basic command. I have given an example on the screen. If you see a host with an IP, can anyone say which host name, which domain name it is under? Just try running the same command and just let me know which domain the host IP is for. Yeah, it's for Dell.com. So Dell, yeah, I'm able to see Farah. As Mrigakshi is sharing, I'm able to see the chat. Yeah, it's for Dell.com. That's the domain, which IP we got it using the host command. Next slide, please. So with this, whenever you are given an IP address, easy open source tool that you can use, and even if you see on screen, it also shows what mail server it is handling. So each and every IP address or the domain name will have particular mail server. So it shows the information of what mail server Dell.com is using. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yeah, so another tool that we are going to discuss now is the nmap. So this, we just need to install it. Sorry, previous slide. Yeah, previous slide, Mrigakshi. Yeah. No, the before. Nmap one. Before. Yeah. So nmap is a string. No, the nmap one. Yeah. So nmap is a fingerprinting tool. What do you think? It's a fingerprinting tool. So fingerprinting is nothing but it's a software that has a group of information that can be used to detect the internal software, network protocols, operating systems, or any hardware devices that are connected to it. So when we say fingerprinting tool for Nmap discovers TCP by IP fingerprinting operations. Like it shows us what kind of open ports that are related to particular domain, and based on this information, an attacker can start footprinting exercises and can develop accurate vulnerabilities based on it, attack scenarios, and to exploit the vulnerabilities in application system. And this is completely focused on application layer of the OSI model, but people think it will be on transport layer, but not. This is completely focused on the application layer of OSI model. So to work with Nmap, we need installation. And on slide, I'm showing you 3 quick steps to install Nmap. You can just install, update the Linux with the sudo apt-get, and then you can just install Nmap. That's the simple command, sudo apt-get install Nmap, and then you can check the version. Then you can see your Nmap will be installed on your system. Is anyone having Nmap installed, pre-installed?
I think Nmap comes pre-installed in Kali, so everyone should just be able to use that command.
Got it. I think some versions are missing. Okay, might be. So if you're having Nmap on your system, just to man Nmap and check, you can try different options using the Nmap, which you have some questions in your exercises. Next slide, please. Okay, so when you do Nmap with the Dell.com, this is what you get as an output. So you can see it scans the whole domain name and gives you the open ports because this is like a TCP by IP fingerprinting. It collects all information within the application layer, and then it shows the open ports that are on the network. So with this, you can see what are the open ports that are related to a particular domain. So that's the use of Nmap. And then we come to NSLOOKUP. NSLOOKUP is a server that directly communicates with the DNS server. It's another way. It's other open source tool which we have in Kali, which helps us to check name servers and mail servers that are attached to a particular domain. So if you can try that command that's on the screen, like NSLOOKUP, and set the type as a name server for domain as a Dell.com, and you can just tell me what are the name servers that Dell.com is having. No, go back. Let them. The question was to check use NSLOOKUP command and check the name server for Dell.com. You can just try running the same command that you're seeing on screen and see how NSLOOKUP communicates and gets with the DNS server and gets us the name servers that are located for Dell.com. Yeah, exactly. Screen, Mrigakshi. So you can see the servers that are located for Dell.com. In this way, you can just enumerate the type, like with the name servers or mail servers using NSLOOKUP commands. This is another basic reconnaissance that we do while doing vulnerability testing. Next slide. Yeah. So HTTP status.io, it like a direct change. Like if I have a website, it's not practically, I mean, it's this code of that particular URL, etc. So this can be made easy, which gives you an web page loaded where you can enter the domain name and or the URL that you want to see, and it will show you which
I think Lalithya probably had an internet issue and dropped off. I'm just gonna add her back. Okay, we'll just wait for Lalithya to come back. Are you guys enjoying the workshop? Did any of you learn anything new so far? That's good to hear. I'm glad. I think B-Sides will post the recordings later. Probably once the whole conference is over, it'll be up.
Let's discuss some of the questions till Lalithya comes. What do you say,
Yeah,
Farah?
yeah, let's do that. We'll just talk to everyone here because I can see like a few people active. So let's just discuss it with them and get to know what they've learned. It seems like they're liking it. So I think I shared a doc at the beginning of this. So if y'all could just open that and we'll go through some of the questions and see if y'all are able to answer it. Some of those topics were covered in our presentation. So
Do you all have the doc? Does someone like to come and present here?
what if we start sharing and I can just share my screen probably.
So, any volunteers from the audience who would like to say anything on any of the questions? If they got answers to any of the questions, we'll be so happy to listen to any of you.
Okay, so can you all see my screen? So let's go through some of the questions. That's awesome. Okay. Let's go through the first question. Why do you want to perform host discovery as a part of Recon? I believe Lalithya covered this topic before about host discovery, but I would love to know what you all think. Why is it important to perform host discovery as a part of Recon? Oh, Lalithya is back.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't know what's happening with my network actually today.
No worries.
No problem, Lalithya.
I'll
Are
just
you able to share the screen?
I'll just share it for you, Lalithya. No worries.
Yeah,
Wherever
sure. I'll just share. Yeah, thanks. We are at http://status.io.
Yep. Yeah.
So yeah, so you can use this tool. It's an open source tool that you can directly go onto the website and click on the URL, where you can just see the number of redirect URL status codes of particular the URL. You can just try doing it. Hello, am I lost again?
No, we can hear
No,
you.
we can hear you.
Hello.
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. So yeah, we have some questions related to http status.io in further, and we'll just go to the next topic. Next slide, please, Farah. Yeah, so now we're going to discuss about subdomain enumeration. So before we go to subdomain enumeration, let's discuss about the domain name. So what exactly is a domain name, and what is a subdomain, and what exactly the schema is. So a domain name is like hello, I lost the screen
Lalithya, you can
sharing.
continue. We can see the screen, Lalithya.
Okay, so I'll just go with the without the slides. So if you see the URL that is present on the screen, the http yahoo.com, so the .com it's referred to as a root level domain, and the Yahoo is a subdomain for that .com, and the HTTPS is the schema that we are using. So the schema identifies the protocol to be used, whether it is like a HTTP or HTTPS, which we can use it. A domain is particularly the IP address that goes to the DNS server and adds a domain name to particular address, which are stored in a DNS servers. So if we consider .com as a root level domain, then the subdomain will be the Yahoo one. So top level domains are the one of the most highest level of domain hierarchical domain in the system, after the root domain. And I'm not sure what's my next slide. Maybe I'll just see in my screen.
Subdomain.
Yeah, subdomain is just part of an root domain. If you consider yahoo.com, if .com and Yahoo is a subdomain for .com. And if you consider news.yahoo.com, then news is a subdomain for yahoo.com. So in that same way, if we want to enumerate the kind of subdomains, so what is the use of enumerating subdomains? Suppose we have a target that is given to do some reconnaissance and find out vulnerabilities. If we have given xyz.com, so we need to identify if there are any subdomains that are attached to that particular domain, so that we can have more chance and possibility to find out vulnerabilities, because everyone will be focused on the main domain. But if you are focusing on a subdomain, and if you can enumerate the subdomains, and if you are able to do some vulnerability testing, then that's a valid error that can be bug that can be identified. So we have a lot more subdomains, and subdomains levels, it's like a 500 subdomains max. So how it work? So it's like it's used to organize and navigate to different parts of web applications or services, the subdomains. And if you can see the hierarchy, the dot is a root domain, and we have the subdomains as organization.coms, or NCAs, or authentication, something like that. And if you are dividing the .com as well, we have some subdomains. We have yahoo.com, netflix.com, spotify.com, or any like google.com, something like that. And even if the other subdomains for those particular level of domains again goes to like news.yahoo.com, finance.yahoo.com, entertainment.yahoo.com, something like that. So each domain can be divided into subdomains, and if you can enumerate the subdomains, we have multiple chances to do the reconnaissance and find out vulnerabilities. So what is the use? Like you can find interesting assets of the targets, like different servers, web applications, and if you have forgotten, I mean, any hidden or forgotten applications that which help you to find out vulnerabilities, then you can find out. The tool that I'm showing now is the sublister, which is a CLI tool that helps in enumerating the subdomains. So what exactly the sublister do? It enumerates subdomains using all search engines. Like if we need to install sublister, and for that we need Python, and pip would be the easy way. Like if you have a Python and pip, then you can install. I have given you the link how to install the sublister. If you need, I'll just ping it in the chat as well. So you can just quickly install it on the Kali Linux. It doesn't take much of your time. And once you run the sublister command with giving a domain to particular website, like if I'm giving sublister, if I'm running sublister with a domain of domain name as Dell.com, it runs through all the search engines, and it gives us n number of multiple subdomains that are hidden for that particular domain. Those are not hidden, but we actually don't know. We cannot directly check it. So the sublister is an optimized and accurate tool, I would say, that would give domain names list for you to identify and enumerate the subdomain. So this is how it works. Like say we have done, if you can see on the screen, if you can share the last screen, Farah, the other screen, next one. Next one. So this is the hierarchy. I'm sorry, I'm just not. Next screen.
Do you want to be on the hierarchical domain name system of news.yahoo.com?
No, just next slide. Next slide. Yeah, next slide. Yeah, this is the one. So if you can see on the screen how it works, I have typed a command for sublister for a domain of yahoo.com, and you see it's searching in all web search engines, and it is giving me the results of the subdomains that are presented for yahoo.com, which you can enumerate and find out vulnerabilities. So this is how you do enumeration, subdomain enumeration for using sublister. With this, I think I'm done with my part, and you guys will have questions on this topic. I'm sorry, I'm just having a bad connection in between. And next slide will be continuing by Farah.
Lalithya, we have a question for you here. Does subdomain have different public IPs assigned, or they are all tied to the main domain's IP?
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Are you able to see the chat?
No, my screen is just blurred.
Okay. So we have a question for you from Prashant. Does public IPs equal to IP addresses? He's asking about public IP addresses.
Hello. It can have just different IP addresses. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you. He
Yeah,
said,
it
okay,
can have multiple.
Yeah, and Prashant, I think you can always join us to maybe answer some questions. Just click the join button here, and
All right. So I guess I'll continue on from here. So I'm going to talk about how you can perform recon using SSL and TLS certificates. So first, let's talk about what those are. They are mainly used to enable an encrypted connection, which means that any communication from the server to the client is encrypted, and it also has another function of demonstrating ownership of that domain. So what that certificate does is proves that this organization owns the domain, and some details that are included in the SSL and TLS certificate are is the domain name, the certificate authority, the organization, the expiration, and things like that. So there's a type of SSL TLS certificate called wildcard certificate. So if you see a wildcard certificate with a domain which says star.yahoo.com or something similar where a star is there, it means that it's a wildcard, and this is a wildcard certificate which can be used with multiple subdomains of a domain. So if there is star.yahoo.com, it will act as a certificate for news.yahoo.com, chrome.yahoo.com, and any subdomains. And this goes beyond just one subdomain. It can be a few levels of subdomains. As mentioned earlier, it's a hierarchy. So a pro of doing this is that there's an easy setup over there, but there's also a con that if one of those subdomains is compromised, then the others will also likely be compromised. So now I'm going to show how you can do subdomain enumeration using some GUI tools. So there's no Kali required for this. All you need for this is your browser, and these are website names. So if you go on crt.sh, it will help you look for subdomains from the SSL TLS certificate that was explained earlier. And subdomain finder.c99.nl is also another finder that's available on the browser. You don't need to install any tool for it, and it will give you a list of some subdomains. So why don't we try one of those right now? So if you all can just go to this website, crt.sh, and in the search bar, when you type in yahoo.com, these are the results you'll get. So there are quite a lot of details over here, like who is the issuer, so the issuer name, matching identities, the common name, and about its expiry, that it's not before and not after, and when was it logged, and also an ID, which is for their purposes. So let me know if y'all did this and if y'all got the same results as seen on the screen. Is anyone with us?
Yeah, could you repeat the question? I think no one has answered yet.
Yeah, so there's no question as such, or if you can just go to crt.sh and type in yahoo.com. Okay, there's an error, so there's probably some issue on their end, but don't worry, we have another tool that we can experiment with. So if you can just go to subdomainfinder.c99.nl, you'll see a page like this has a much more friendlier user interface. So if you can just go here and type yahoo.com, you'll probably get a simple list of subdomains with their IP addresses. Let me know if this website gives issues too. Yeah, that one is good. It's very easy to use. I'm not. I don't. If I don't feel like using a tool on a CLI, I just use this one. Yep, there are lots of results. Yahoo.com is a big one, but there will also be smaller applications sometimes that don't have as many results as Yahoo.com does. Okay, so I am going to move on now to the next topic. We already did this, so let's go on. Now I'm going to talk about Google Docking for hacking. I think this was very briefly mentioned by Mrigakshi earlier, that you can use search engines like Google, Bing to perform your recon. So that's what we're going to look into today. So firstly, let me explain to you what is Google Docking. So Google Docking is nothing but they are like filters for Google. So I'm sure when we've shopped before, we've used filters while shopping, that we only want products of a certain color, certain price range, certain brand. So Google Docs are just like those. They are filters for a Google search. So it allows you to get much more specific results, and that allows you to get specific search results which are related only to your target and are relevant only for that. So for that reason, it can be used for recon while hacking, because it helps us discover very target specific information. So this is one example of a Google Doc. This is the site doc. So the site doc essentially allows you to look for subdomains of a domain. So the star again means wildcard over here. So we're just asking Google to look for subdomains of spotify.com over here. We can also get much more, we can enhance this a little bit further by putting 2 wildcards. So then it gives you the result for the 3rd and 4th level domain. And we can also use the minus sign to remove certain subdomains from our search results. So while doing bug bounty, there are some targets that are out of scope. You're not allowed to hunt on them as per the policy. So what you can do here is, you don't want results for that particular domain, and you'll just use the minus sign and write the domain's name, and there will be no results from that domain. That was how you use Google Docking for domains, but you can also use Google Docking to find sensitive files related to the target or host it somewhere on the target's websites. So here, as you can see, I've given site.spotify.com. So that's my first doc. I can also combine it with another doc called ext, which basically stands for extension, like a file extension. And file type also does the same thing. So as you can see in the values, I've given PDF, docx, pptx. So these are essentially file extensions that I've given, and I want to know, I want only those file results on spotify.com that have those extensions. There are also some more sensitive file extensions like log, conf, bak, back, and these essentially mean that they're backup files or some kind of configuration files, and they might have a little bit more juicy information if you can find it. Another doc that we can use to for while finding files is the in-text doc. We can give certain keywords that we can tell Google that look for this domain and look for files that have these words in them, or look for web pages that have these words in them. So some word examples can be confidential or internal use only or sensitive, and this sometimes gets the attackers some sensitive files. Okay, so that was how we did files. Now, there's also another thing you can do with Google Docking is look for the target's information, but not on the target sites, on third-party sites. So, I mean, if you have a business, you're not just using your own assets, you're also using some third-party sites to maybe organize your sales data or do some marketing data or something. We all use that in our organization. So some of those examples can be Trello.com, Codeshare.io, and jsfiddle.net. So these websites are generally used for putting up some code snippets or putting up some kind of list or some to-do list. Like there's a lot of things that you can do with Trello.com actually. So when you search for this, it tells Google that you want to search these sites, but there should be the word Spotify somewhere in those pages, and that's the results that those are the results that you're going to get. Now we can also take another approach and use Google Docking for specific bug types. So here, as you can see, open redirects and XSS can be commonly found on certain parameter names. Like redirect URL is a very common parameter where attackers usually find open redirects and XSS. So I have asked Google here to show me all the subdomains of spotify.com that have redirect URL as a parameter in their URL. And we can also use a similar approach to find admin panels or login pages or sign up pages. Some of them can also be insecure. So as you can see here, I've given site Spotify.com and in URL, sign in, login, auth. These are some kind of common words that are used for a login page or a sign up page. And lastly, I want to say is that you can mix all of this up. You can combine and use all of these docs together for the best results, because there's no limit as such. And the more docs you use, the more specific results you'll get, the more obscure findings you will have. And that is the whole point of bug bounty, is to find unique findings before anyone else does. So yeah, that's all I had for you today. And thank you. And now we're going to go and work on the question that we gave earlier. We'll also provide you these slides so you guys can use that as a reference while solving questions.
Yeah, I think all of you have the questionnaire, and there's a link at the end of the questionnaire for our slides. No, TJ, we don't have a list of references, but we have mentioned all the slides in our slides, which sites we visited all throughout. Thank you, Haima. Anybody ready with any answers? We really want to discuss the questionnaire now, because we are going to open up the questionnaire and discuss all the questions there. I think we have 35, 33 people here. Just come on our stage, join our stage. Join our stage. Volunteers, anybody? Please don't leave the conference. Join our stage. How about Prashant? Yeah, we have 28 people left now. So it's okay. Let's discuss the questions here. Anybody who wants to volunteer, type Y in the chat and then join us. So I'm going to share my screen for these questionnaires. I see a lot of people here. 10-15 people are there. So first question you see, I hope everyone can see my screen.
Yeah, Mrigakshi, we can see.
Yeah. So first question is find the txt file in the website. Anybody was able to find a file maybe in .well-known directory? Sure, Haima, please join the presentation by just clicking on join. And maybe we can discuss any question that you could answer. Are you able to join us by clicking join?
There should be a little button at the top saying join, and then we can accept.
Yeah.
But if it's not, please
Please
share
let us
on
know.
chat.
So I'm going to open this website and so this is the website. The first question answers here. Security.txt is a common website found in .well-known. This is this has to be public in general. This is not really a bug, but you can always get a lot of information from here. Let's look at some of the more questions. I think I have already shown how to find the Favicon hash of google.com favicon.hico. And we can always check the DMRC policy by MX Toolbox. So let's go to MX Toolbox. So I just search my website here, and I see that the DMRC policy has been published and the record is found. Yeah. So for question number 5, I would really like you to do task 1 and 2 on this website. So it would be really good if someone volunteers for this one. You just have to sign up here, and there's some very easy tasks that you can do. Yeah, so Haima is here. Haima, would you like to do the other question? It's simple. Would you like to try it? I think you can speak. You have to turn on the mic.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, Haima. Would you like to try this question, the next question?
Sure.
Sure. Can you share your screen with us?
Maybe I won't be able to crack that. I probably need help.
Oh, you will be able to crack. We are always here to help. Everyone's available.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I went to the website and what do you want? Why do you
Hi,
want?
Lalithya. Could you just, I think Indeed one's yours.
Yeah, sorry. Which question are we trying for?
We are trying the second part for the Indeed one.
Mm-hmm. So the first question is just the context related question. You don't need to perform any task on it. It's just a basic idea. Why do you want to generally do a host discovery or as a part of Recon? I think someone has already given answer in the chat before when I was doing the presentation.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just like, why do you want to perform Recon? Simply, why do you want to do a host discovery?
Sure.
What's the use of it? Yeah.
So okay. So I see the answer in the chat. I'm sorry, I'm not prepared for this one. So it's
No worries.
the open source services and which IPs to target. Right.
Yeah, if you just want to discover number of hosts or what are the open ports that are available for one particular domain, then we'll just do this host discovery, host enumeration.
Okay.
So, do you have Kali Linux pre-installed on your system, Haima?
Nope, I don't think I do.
That's okay. Yeah, you can try some other questions which are like web page.
Yeah, sure. Haima, let's try the hack this site question, that question number 4 and 5 you see on your screen.
Okay, identify the name of the server. Okay, so I have some trouble sharing.
Did you end the screen share?
Yeah, I'm trying to. It's frozen for me for some reason.
Oh, okay.
I'm not able to. Okay. Oh gosh. Okay. I think. Can you hear me at least?
Yeah, we can hear you. Okay, I think we can take a break for 20 minutes for participants to look into the questions, and we can come back. I think not everybody is from Calgary, so I cannot really tell the time, but we can come back in 20 minutes if anybody knows any answers to any questions, because we have about 1.5 hours still in the workshop. We'll still be talking with all of you. We'll be solving every question one by one. And yeah, just try and solve those questions by yourself. And we'll meet you in about 20 minutes. I'm going to share my question number 4 and 5 from the sheet that Farah shared. And so Farah, if you want to continue with your part first till the time I sign up for the site that I've given there.
Yeah, I'll just go through the Google Docking part as well. Yeah, sure, I can start with that. Just give me a second. I think you all can see my screen now. As I said, if you can just open google.com, we will go to the group 2 set of questions, beginner question at group 2. The website that we're gonna use as our target for these exercises is Spotify.com. I already gave a few examples of these in my presentation. So if you have, if you want, you can just keep that open as on another tab as well. But I'm going to share my screen anyway. So the first one is just a question: why do sensitive files get indexed on Google? So if you have a robots.txt file on your server, you can actually specify certain file types that you want Google or you don't want Google to index while they're searching. So for example, if there are certain sensitive files which have any information about your server that you don't want the public to see, you can restrict that from being from appearing on Google search results. In a similar way, you can also put certain things that you want Google to search for. So maybe some marketing data or something like that you want to be seen in search engine. So you can allow that on your robots.txt file. Now let's look at this. Which doc will you use to find a potential Ssrf, and write down some URLs that you found through Google Docking that may be vulnerable to Ssrf. So first, let's talk about a little bit about what Ssrf is. So Ssrf is basically an attacker tricking the server to make a request to some internal resource. And since the internal resource is receiving that request from the server, which is a trusted resource, it will allow access to that. And as a result, it will allow access to that internal resource to the attacker. So we're basically misusing the server's trust in its own domain. And that's why the name server-side request forgery. So there are certain docs, certain parameters in URLs that are generally vulnerable to Ssrf. So let's find out what those parameters are first. So I'm just going to look for Ssrf common parameters. And let's find a cheat sheet or something like that. Or we can just look for Ssrf Google Docs. And here we'll have some results. So let's open those up. Okay, so as you can see here, this is the host in this case, and we have a page over here, which here we're requesting access to an internal file. I'm just going to zoom my screen in case this is not properly visible. So this page parameter over here is vulnerable, and we can request an internal resource by adding a payload over here. So this would also be the answer to my question, which is write down some URLs that you found in Google Document that may be vulnerable to Ssrf. So something like this, a URL like this might be vulnerable to Ssrf. We can test it for Ssrf for sure. And yeah, this is what it would be. So here we are reading local files, but you can also do some other things. Here you can see these are some other websites, and these are some other parameters that are vulnerable. So that's kind of how you would go about looking for Google Docs for a specific bug type. Next question, write down 3 URLs that you found that may be vulnerable to an XSS, and 3 for SQL injection. So similar to what we did in the previous question, I'm just going to look for XSS Google Docs. And here you actually have a huge list, like top 10, top 100 XSS docs. So you must often see these parameters appearing in your URL, like $Q equals to, or search equals to, or keyword query. These are really common parameters that we see across a lot of different websites that we use in our daily life. So these can also be vulnerable to XSS, and any XSS payloads here in these parameters, we see that happening quite often. So definitely a good place to look for XSS docs. And we also had a question for SQL injection. So let's see what we have for SQL injection. So yeah, similar to this, we have view items.php and ID. I see ID parameter being the most vulnerable by so far. but there are also some other ones like UID. We have docs sometimes, and the IDs can also have like different kinds. So here we have TID, we have just ID, FID. So ID parameter, because it is enumerable easily, it's generally vulnerable to SQL injection too. Let's look at the next question. Find out 5 third level and 3 fourth level domains of Spotify.com. So for this, let's just go ahead and use our site doc that we saw earlier. So I'm just going to do site star dot because we are finding fourth level domains as well. So just going to do that. And you can see that we have support.spotify.com. I think we need to have a space here, and I'm just going to remove one of these so we can get more results. And we don't want anything other than that, so I'm just going to remove our regular Spotify. So we have open.spotify.com, artist.spotify.com, accounts.spotify.com. So as you can see that, using this, we can enumerate subdomains. We don't need any tool. It's just a simple Google search, developer.spotify.com, and the regular www.spotify.com. So we found our third level domains, and let's find some PDF, docs, CSV, or TXT files. I am honestly not sure if this has a results, because most companies, they do a pretty good job of not exposing these files, but sometimes we might get lucky, and that's what bug bounty is about anyway. I think we need to look for them individually. Yeah, so as I said, it's kind of not very common to find files through this kind of search. For Spotify.com, they are a popular target for bug bounty, so it might not be available. Perhaps we can try another target. So I'm just gonna do google.com and see what comes up. Yeah, so as you can see, we have a lot of PDF files that are available over here. Of course, everything isn't sensitive, and we probably have to look at the files a little bit to see if they have anything sensitive in it. But in that case, we can also use other docs like in text, confidential, or internal use only to filter out the search results even more. But yeah, there's a lot of space to experiment with Google Docs. You can combine them, you can use one, two, or you can combine different kinds of docs. So yeah, I think that's the power of that. And I think I'm done with the Google Docking questions. So let me hand it over back to Mrigakshi.
Sure. I'll just share my screen. Yeah. I'll just share my screen and show some of the questions that we have not done. So this is the sheet everyone sees, I think. And so I've already shown you how to find the txt file. It is .wellknown security.txt. The answer to this one is. And you can also find robots.txt. That was already there in the slides. And I have shown you how to find the Favicon hash for google.com, favicon.ico. You can always go back and refer to the slides. And we'll definitely provide you a link to all the slides we have. Again, let's see the last for the DMRC. That also I can show this part again. So I'm going to search MX Toolbox. and I'm going to find my site hackthisite.org and search for MX lookup. And here I can find that the DMRC record has been published. So that was question number 3. And for question number 4 and 5, I wanted you guys to do basic level 1 and 2. So let me show you level 1. So I clicked on the basic mission, and this is the basic mission level 1. Can you see my screen? Is it large, little?
Can you zoom in a little?
Yeah, let me zoom this.
That's better. Yes. Getting better. Now zoom back in.
So anybody who wants to solve this question with me? This is the idiot test. If you can't complete it, don't give up. Maybe try learning HTML. Don't be begging someone else for the answer. That's a way to get hated. Enter the password and click continue. So anybody just guesses, wild guesses, what's the answer here? We have 12 people viewing this. Come on. Just a wild guess that what would be the password here. Anybody in the chat? Any of the audience know it? Okay. Any of the speakers know it? Maybe Farah or Aarti, you're available. Do you remember what's the password here?
I don't remember actually.
So yeah, so as the name says, the idiot test, it doesn't want you to actually write any password. You just have to click submit here, and that's it. Okay. Sorry, but you have entered an incorrect password. Okay, really? This can complete it. Don't give up on learning. Okay, so I think let's see inspect element. We couldn't really do it without writing any password. Maybe we'll find, oh, so its value is password here. Can you see the inspect element? So it's password. Let me try writing password, because in inspect element, it's written type password and name password. That means that the value of password should be password. I click on submit. Oh, it says sorry again. Yeah, its value is password, so that should be it. Yeah, I have no idea why this is happening. So I'm just moving on to level 2, network security. Sam set up a password protection script. He made it load to real password from an unencrypted text file and compared the password to that user enters. However, he neglected to upload the password file. So he did not upload the password file. Let's again try clicking on submit. And yeah, it says congrats. So this one just happened because this person forgot to upload the password file, and it got completed. Yeah, so maybe I'll try again. This one, the answer to this one is password because it's written in HTML in the inspect element. So those were my 4 questions.
I think Lalithya is still having issues with joining, so she might not be able to go through her questions.
So I think we are done with the workshop for now. Anybody still has any questions or would like to volunteer, we are still available for next 1 hour. You can always ping us. You have our profiles on Hopin, and you can always message us privately on LinkedIn. We are always there to reply to them. And yeah, that's all for today.
A huge thank you and well done to Mrigakshi, Farah, and Lalithya. This has been fantastic, just seeing the 3 of you on this workshop, and such a pleasure. Every time I join this session, I learn something new. So thank you for sharing this with the audience and the participants.